this whole thing is a true underdog story. We're this team that lost first last year. We come back in. No one really knows who we are. No one knows what we're capable of. We lose our first 2 matches. Then we win 3 in a row. We get to the semifinals.
There was not a better way to end this whole week.
This might happen. This is happening. It is. Oh my
word! Are you better at flexing?
It's like pretty close.
Do you have
actually.
flexing tech?
I think mine are bigger. You're just better at flexing.
Yep.
How does that feel?
Final day, this is what we were hoping for, this is what we were dreaming for. We wanted to make it to the next day. We get ready, and we know we have a long day ahead of us.
We know that we're going to be there super late, that we're going to play a lot of matches if we do well. We then realize that we're going to be playing Olo in the playoffs.
This one is a big one for the team, but Dexterity has this huge rivalry with Olo because
They had beaten us the previous year. We really knew we had it in us to do well, and so to be playing them again in playoffs was, oh my god, it was so cool. We were all so hyped, so ready to get our revenge, to go back out there and do what we knew we could do from the previous year. Oh, I remember being so happy and so ready, but at the same time sad because I wished I could be there to compete too. We're also friends with a lot of the Olo guys and things, so we knew it was gonna be a fun match. They're a good team,
But I remember I was like, oh yes, we're going against Olo again. Like, this is crazy. We are a different team. Yeah, so we had pretty good matchups.
And we knew they're going to send out Roland. He's their little speedster. And I just felt like I'm fast too, so I can get this guy. And so I remember telling Tim that he's got to put me out there first because I want to go tag Roland. Tim, he was on board, so the whole night I'm so excited because I knew I can go tag this guy. And I knew if I tag him right away, and if I get an evasion, that's going to be big. I knew if I do those 2 things, we're probably going to win.
I'm not swimming anywhere on the pond. I'm eating it every time I get it. It's like, oh no.
I'm sorry, I'm staying over here, like, filming 4K slow-mo. Rock, paper, scissors, shoot.
everyone felt ready. Everyone looked ready. So we're warming up.
Paul was really tense. But this one, I don't know why. I've never seen Paul tense before. He was like, a couple times, just like, "You good? You good, brother? You good, brother?" And I was like, "I'm good, Paul."
It was just, the adrenaline was so high in all those matches. Just the atmosphere and everything.
Alex too. Alex was like super tense for a little while. And Alex was trying to convince me not to be tense, but I'm like, "Alex, you're tense, bro."
This was another level of intense.
Olo electing to start with Roland once again. It's been a regular tactic for them as he goes under the sisters and round by the front line and keeps on going because he sees Paul is in close attendance. But a nice little move to get out from around the loading bay, and he very nearly goes out the quad, but that pace keeps him in it, and he is road running around there, and it was well.
I thought the chase was pretty close. Roland was definitely making Paul work. And I'm not going to lie, at one point I was a little nervous. I thought he might have gotten away from Paul. Paul just stuck to his game plan. He did exactly what we talked about. And he ran him down, and he tagged him. And that was exactly what he said he was going to do in all of our talks leading up to it. So that was awesome.
In comes Sean Higgins. He's done some really impressive work as a chaser on a number of occasions in this tournament to Sean. He is tenacious, and look at the tenacity there, but he loses his footing, and that gives Paul a little second or two to get a bit further away and build up a gap between them. And he goes underneath the front line, but that tenacity, again another dive, and it doesn't make contact. And it must have been so close, that one under the front line.
Paul gets out of it, we're happy. We get our first evasion, we're like, let's go, you know. This is good. This is good momentum.
I was feeling a little gassed at that point, but you know, you got 20 seconds. Why you can sprint or do what you need to for another 20 seconds.
In comes Fernando with that Raptor stance. Thinks about going on top of the tilted cube, decides against it. Can't manage to make the dive work under the mountain. Now can he maintain his composure to force another chance? Loading bay in the mountain, he's not managed to force one yet, and Paul has scrambled back the other way. Superb work from Paul Fisher, who might be doubling up, and does double up.
Paul comes out the gate with 2 evasions back to back.
Somehow, that was close because this guy was on me for a good bit, and I think there was a couple times where he was about this close, but somehow I got the other evasion. I felt like I'm capable. I felt like I was always capable of that. I just haven't done it.
After that second evasion, you could just tell that Olo was like, oh crap. The pressure was on them, and that was how we were with them last year, so it was kind of like a change of fate.
There's this like certain like mental like aspect to like competing, I feel like, where after you like the other team like experiences like something like that happening, they like start getting worried and like not performing their best.
So from that point on, we kind of were in charge of that match.
When I went back to the sidelines, I'm like, that's it. You know, the rest of the guys, they can do the rest. I did my part.
A lot of the teams in the playoffs tonight have reached the quarterfinals of WCT USA before, but Dexterity Depot have not. It was an early exit for them last year, but they look better this year, and part of the reason is that man there, Aaron Lucas.
I was speaking to them earlier. They even told me if Luke is on the quad as a Vader, they are sending out Aaron to match him. They did exactly what they said, and look, it paid off.
2-0 Dexterity Depot.
Some matchup this, you know. Olo team leader, Steez. Having a look and then having a dive, but not making it work. And Aaron is using those bars, but he doesn't manage to get away from that long arm as Steez descends from the top of the ridge.
Great use of the ridge by Aaron, but it was just not enough near the end. Steez, he saw that he could dive out and get that tag. He went for it.
Dexterity Depot. Athletes running!
Olo are in a hole. They trail 2-0. In a shootout for the quarterfinals, but could this man be key? It's only one big stride to go on to the second sister, and an easy move through the mountain as Alex tries to find him and can't do so through the loading bay, and now a lope around the front line and again over the sisters, this time with a little more bother, but no more. Some bother getting through the mountain. It did not matter because all he had to do was last another second or so.
20 seconds, that's all it takes. Look, Alex had a chance at the loading bay. He missed it. This was an incredible evasion by Steez. He saw Alex coming through and threading, and he made sure he had that distance.
See Steez go through the mountain, not entirely cleanly, it did not matter. And in comes Jordan, trying to get hold of Steez. It was back-to-back evasions for Paul that put Dexterity Depot 2-0 up. It is not going to be back-to-back for Steez, because Dexterity maintain the narrowest of leads.
Little bit of a hesitation from Steez. That's all it takes when your opponent is running and jumping into the center of the tilted cube. Textbook move by Jordan right there.
There's a few Olo fans here. There's certainly an Olo banner that's been pretty much ever present. It must be stressful because every single game they play ends up being close. And this one is close. And Bailey Harter is too close to Jordan there, makes the tag.
Bailey put on pressure at the lazy boy. Jordan tried to juke him back and forth, but he got caught in that key pinch point. And yeah, well, Bailey got him for that.
Dexterity send in Connor, who is 18 years old. That's a fact. And he heads off under the ridge, and Bailey's trying to get through the mountain, and he does do better than Connor. And Connor goes low, Bailey spots him and goes back the other way, and he very nearly. It's almost like
I got the tag, I was ready. I was really hoping to get my first evasion, and then I look onto the Chasers plate and they put on Roland, and I was like, oh.
In comes Roland for Olo. He's been their top evader in this tournament so far with a couple of evasions, and he's going to get a chance to add to that because he makes a quick tag on Roland.
I tried to waste time as much as I could, try to tire him out. I don't think I did a very good job, but he got me, and I was like, oh, that sucks.
This is some matchup, this. Aaron versus Roland. Roland looking to level the game at 2 apiece, and he is quick, Roland, but so is Aaron, and he stops him before he disappears back under the mountain.
Aaron is the guy to send out against Roland. Very good decision by Dexterity team captain Tim. Look, Aaron did not even go up on top of the tilted cube. He juked him.
Into the final quarter of this contest. Sean trying to help rescue this for Olo. They are no stranger to tight and tense games. But off goes Aaron over the sisters. It's down low for Sean. And it's a hop out of the mountain and down low for Sean again, but he does not make contact. And Aaron is away. And he stops and waits and waits and waits. Oh! Has he waited long enough? Did Sean wait too long?
We are going to DTR. It is no question that that tag happened. It is just about when that tag happened.
Now, Sean was in the loading bay and trying to figure out how to make a move. He realized he needed to make one, and eventually he does. And the tag happens just before the lights go green. That is a tag. The lead remains 2-1 Dexterity Depot. However, Olo are on the quad, and Sean has a chance to level the score.
What a high tension moment.
Dexterity Depot.
Can Sean Higgins produce his first evasion of the tournament this year to level the scores? The scramble under the sisters, and Paul gets him by the front line, and that means that Dexterity have a chance to close it out themselves now.
Great job by Paul. He kept the tempo. He controlled it. Sean unfortunately chose the wrong route. He went along the front line where he was left open.
Match point, Dexterity Depot.
Show, baby, come on.
Steez has to tag and then evade to save his team. It looks like he has tagged. Yes, he has. Paul acknowledges it, and it's a quick one as well.
Steez has already been on the quad 5 times this match. He is not looking at all tired. This is a very important chase for them.
Match point, Dexterity Depot. Athlete
Aaron makes the tag. Dexterity go through to the quarterfinals. If he does not, we're going sudden death. And Steez goes down low, pops out the center of the mountain. A swing around that pole is a lovely little move. And he swings around the tilted cube through the mountain beautifully. And Aaron, can he find a way to make a tag? He goes through the loading bay. He's claiming it. Steez acknowledges it.
Match point. I got the tag. We're moving on. That's it. We just got our revenge on Olo.
It was great, dude. It was such a roller coaster.
Coming from being beaten down, losing our captain.
We lost 2 matches. We were like down to like the, like in the pits, like we need to win this next match. We win, super happy. We win again, like what? And then we win again!
I remember like almost being at tears at one point because of how proud I was. Like the guys just did so well. Even though I couldn't compete, seeing them do that well was awesome.
Pennsylvanians Dexterity Depot, despite losing their captain 2 minutes into the entire tournament, have found their way through to the quarterfinals.
Nobody thought we were going to get this far. We're kind of shocked a little bit after everything that's happened. Our sights are now set on GNF.
Now GNF has been a team that has always been good in chase tag. They are the longest running US team in the world. This year the team was a little different, the members were different, but still it's a team that's been known in the community. They're a strong team.
I thought we had a chance, but I don't think most people watching in the stands thought we did because GNF they went to Worlds last year.
We got to refocus and keep our game plan and keep going. So we know they are missing a few of their key players from last year. So we knew we had to kind of like focus and like exploit that in some ways.
Dexterity Depot from Pennsylvania came through the playoffs to reach the quarterfinals for the first time in their history. The man alongside me got a very close-up view of it. How was that, Fernando?
My goodness, these Dexterity Depot guys were strong and hard.
GNF captain Jake, a former Knight of Flight. That's an MVP at a World Championship.
I did another slip through the tilted cube and got a quick tag on Jake, and then Jake was like, "Man, you're quick, yeah." I'm like, "Thank you."
Lane Camarada, one of a couple of players that GNF have brought in from another parkour team, Unknown. Goes through the loading bay and under the mountain to try and maintain some speed. He's down by the tilted cube and looking to make the strike, and he does exactly that. He hadn't fully committed to a move through the tilted cube, so it's easy to get out and get him at the mountain.
Yeah, he was just waiting for his moment, and Lane got that moment exactly where he wanted it to. You can see him go for that reach. Saw that read that he was going the other way, made his move.
0-all. Athletes ready!
Lane does have a couple of evasions already in this tournament. Jog round the front line. Now some real pace under the sisters there. And again, good pace down low as he exits the mountain. And Jordan has a little swipe and he does not make contact. And there's lots to hide behind the tilted cube, and Jordan gets tangled up in the bars, and off he goes, Lane Camarada. It is a third evasion for him in this year's tournament, and GNF go into the lead in this one.
Jordan just doing his best to swipe out and get as many tags as he can. But Lane Camarada taking his moves and keeping his eyes on him, Jordan, making sure he knows which way he's going and getting that evasion.
Athletes ready!
Undoubtedly one of the finds of the tournament, Aaron Lucas from Etta, Pennsylvania, part of this Dexterity team. He is quick and he's got some serious skills as a chase tag athlete.
Lane Camarada just going side to side by that loading bay. Couldn't quite know which way he was going to go approach. Didn't know where he was going to fake it out to. Aaron just taking that side open approach, catching him out by that sister.
Athletes ready!
Sean Law into the action. Just flushes Aaron out, and look, he can't stand out in the front there, but he could, it turns out. Oh, hesitation from the referee even, but the tag was given. Aaron acknowledged it in the end. I really thought that his pace had got him out of that bit of a hole he dug for himself.
Absolutely, Aaron doing a really good job of cutting that move all the way around to the ridge. But can I say, Sean, that diving over that crossbar, making that reaching tag, knew he was going to slam, but he committed to that tag, and he gets it for a GNF.
1-0 GNF. Athletes ready!
Paul Fisher, again, another player who has impressed over the course of this tournament. He doesn't go for the full dive through the tilted cube there. I think he realised he wasn't going to get Sean, but he's managed to maintain really close order. And that's the thing, you don't want to make your attempt too early, because if you don't get there, a better chance might present itself.
Absolutely, sometimes you just got to wait for your opponent to make the mistake. Sean Law making that tag for Paul Fisher, super easy.
Athletes ready!
Joe Rizzo, which is a sort of name it might come up with if you asked a computer to tell me an American. Just AI generated. But he's not really striking because he's waiting and waiting, and it works really nicely in the end. Well, they were just stood around looking at each other. I was kind of wondering if the tag had been made.
Yeah, they were just staring at each other, just who can blink first? Who's going to do it? Who's going to make the move? Who's going to slip up?
I go in against who we figured is one of their top guys. We knew that we had to contain Rizzo. We knew that he was going to be just a contender up high. He has tons of vision up high, but on top of that, we knew that he is a veteran, and we knew that we needed to contain him.
Aaron has Joe Rizzo in his sights. He goes over the front line, over the sisters, and he really does have him in the sights there. Joe Rizzo unable to get away, and a high five to one of the fans in the crowd for Aaron.
I go in and get him trapped into where I wanted to trap him, which feels good, and get a quick tag on him.
Rizzo keeping eyes on Aaron Lucas, but just wasn't creating that speed over the sisters. Giving him too much time for Aaron to catch up and make that tag.
Athletes ready!
Jake Migliorata comes in. The man in the cap. Can be an issue if that falls off, but we'll cross that bridge if and when we come to it. Doing some work up high, good foot placement. He's looking steady, but what's the time to strike? It's not now. Aaron Lucas is just keeping him at arm's length, longer than arm's length, and it is a level game we've got here.
I felt like I played that backside by the ridge in the loading bay as best as I could. Could see he was getting a little frustrated. I got him to jump a few times when I don't think he wanted to jump, which felt really good. I felt like we were in a good space, which tied it up 1-1.
That is the first evasion that GNF have given up in the entire tournament. And it's been earned by Aaron Lucas. Could he double up? He gets through the mountain and Lane Camerata gets stuck. Oh, what a way to get out of that. They both struggled, but Lane recovered quicker and better with that crawl through the mountain.
That is the toughest part. When you crash on the body on the floor, you have to keep your composure, get yourself back up, and make that tag. Otherwise, what is all that for? And Lane, he made that tag. Completed.
Athletes ready!
Jordan comes in. The scores are tied. GNF, the former world finalist, looking to reach the semis of this for the third year running. But Lane is denied there as Jordan gets himself on the quad as an evader, and it's a chance for Dexterity from Pennsylvania to go into the lead.
It's got to be some kind of mental wizardry here by the open area. Everyone seems that they can just break away from that speed, but they don't realize that the chaser has no bars in front of them. They can just reach out and make that tag super easy.
Athletes ready!
Sean Law is about as safe a pair of hands as you can get as a tagger. Can he get those safe hands on Jordan Robinson? Well, the dive doesn't make contact, but he's up straight away to force another chance. And over in this open space, it's an open air juke and a juke back the other way. That is superb work from Jordan, but it's not enough to get away from the long arm of Sean Law.
Fancy footwork there, keeping Sean Law up on top of the front line, but it was not quick enough by the sisters in loading bay.
Athletes ready!
1-1, only 4 chasers remain. Alex trying to get hold of Sean Law, who was the man who got that dramatic evasion in the very last chase of a 1-0 win in the group stages against Atlanta. When it has really mattered, he has mattered. Is he going to matter again? He goes cross-court and Alex is tailing him and trying to find a way through and makes the decision to go through the tilted cube, and he did it at the very last millisecond.
Alex Mosley doing textbook scrambling out there, hands and feet, jumps into the tilted cube, makes that diving low in between those bars, secures the tag for Dexterity Depot, keeping it alive.
14, Dexterity Depot evading!
The opportunity to inch ahead now swings back in Dexterity's favor, with Alex dropping down into the tilted cube. And a look over the shoulder, he sees Joe is after him, but he's got time and space to come by the front line and wait. And now over the sisters. Oh no, but he couldn't get going quickly enough, and Joe could carry that speed through the center of the court.
If you're not moving fast enough by those sisters, you cannot go up and over. It takes too much time to go up and then back down. By that time, your chasers are right behind you and making that tag, just like Joe Rizzo right there.
Athletes ready!
The semi-finals are within touching distance. And it is Joe Rizzo who goes round the outside. There's a little stumble there from Aaron Lucas, but good scrambling work still doesn't get him close enough to make the tag. It is not over yet. He anticipates him going around the ridge, but he isn't there. And Joe Rizzo is there by the lazy boy.
So I go back in. I am getting a super late tag on him by diving through the lazy boy again. I jump in a lazy boy and without hesitation just dive through the top. I don't try to set anything. I'm just like, I gotta go get the tag. Everybody goes nuts. It's one of the coolest feelings I've had on the quad, where everybody's just like cheering, going crazy. They can't believe what just happened. But I know we're still alive.
What a story this would be if Dexterity can reach the semi-finals. And Aaron Lucas stamping his foot, trying to goad Lane Camerata to make a move and make the decision for him about where to go. He's by the ridge, and he waits, and he waits, and it's wasting time. And Lane, by the loading bay, reaches out and makes the tag. And the tag is made with 1.5 seconds left on the clock, and we go to sudden death. It is longest evasion wins.
In sudden death, how it works is the team with the longest evasion time wins.
As soon as that happens, as soon as I know you're going to sudden death and we're evading, I knew I'm going out there, because at that point I was still pretty fresh because I hadn't played that much.
Paul goes in, and we know that all they want to do is chase him down. And Paul's like, all right, I'm faster than you. I'm just going to run laps.
Longest evasion wins, and Paul Fisher, starting by the tilted cube, and it's a circumspect start for Len Camarada. Is that the wise thing? Does he need to be aggressive to try and get the tag as quickly as possible? Because Bullfish is going all the way around the outside, and Len Camarada's being found out here because it's going to be a great time. It might be the best time. It's a perfect time, he'll set. All 20 seconds. Look.
He started chasing me, and we were running in circles. I think we basically just ran around the whole thing twice.
This man, for 20 seconds, just run laps. He thinks about trying to make a clever move or whatever. We're like, Paul,
just run, Paul, run, keep running.
Just keep running. There's no point. Just go. You can outrun him.
I remember going around the corner. I'd round the corner towards the end, and I'd hear the crowd cheering because it was overtime, and every time I round another corner, I hear the crowd get louder. So that was kind of cool, you know. It kind of, I don't know, it kind of gave you energy in a way. That was probably one of my favorite moments of the whole match.
Getting an evasion in sudden death is huge because that makes the other team have to get an evasion to keep the game going. If they don't, they're out. I think this was the first point where Gio stepped up and impressed us and just became our clutch player.
And I go on the starter plate, and I just think, dude, you have one job. Nothing else matters in the world right now. Just slap this man. Get the tag, get it done.
Jordan, so eager he nearly had a false start there. He has got the full 20 seconds to make the tag, but Sean Law must evade here just to take us to another round of sudden death chases, and that's not going to happen! GNF are defeated! Dexterity Depot win it in sudden death! Team captain Tim Dexter is still wearing the sling from dislocating his arm in their very first match, and his teammates have carried them through.
Everybody's on our side at this point. Nobody knew that this was possible. But we're moving on. We're going back up against Apex Sun.
I think the one thing that our team did really well across the whole tournament was between each match, no matter what it was, whether it was from our lowest point to our highest point, we were able to regroup, recalibrate, reload, and get ready to attack again. We were the only team in the top 4 that didn't go to Worlds last year.
This is kind of crazy. This is the rematch, and we did pretty good, even without Tim, because Tim went out on the second match the first time, and we could have had him,
Going against Apex again we knew it was gonna be a battle, we knew it was gonna be a war, we knew we were going against one of the best teams, and we knew what our strategy was, we knew what our game plan was, so it was just a matter of going out there and executing.
As a team, I felt confident. I knew if I can go in there and do my part and do what I'm capable of doing, we can win this game.
Dexterity go with Paul, the hero of the quarterfinals. He produced a 20-second evasion in sudden death to see off GNF, but he doesn't last what? Doesn't last 7.5 seconds there as Max manages to make the tag under the mountain.
Good pressure by Max. He went straight towards the tilted cube. He put on the pressure, waited for Paul to make that mistake.
Apex Sun
Caught him behind the mountain.
In comes Alex, trying to get hold of Max, and there's a dive through by the ridge, but he can't get him there, but he does get him a second time. I'm not really sure Max is expecting him to recover so quickly.
That was a very good reaction time. He missed that first attempt through the ridge, but no matter, he came back all the way around, got the tag that he so needed.
In comes the team captain, Devon. And Devon sets off around the outside, and he made that look very easy, just seemed in control.
Yep, little bit of a blip from Alex, it seemed. Don't know what happened in his mind, what made him think to go up the mountain ramp. However, bad decision leads to getting tagged.
0-all. Athletes ready!
Jordan's turn to get on the quad in this semi-final. And he goes straight to the centre just to try and see where Devin goes. Well, in the end, all it's done is waste some time as Jordan struggles to get through the mountain, and Devin's quite happy to set off under the sisters. Now well, I thought he was going to put on some pace. He threatens to go back and then carries on the same way. A slide through the loading bay doesn't pay fruit. And Devin, who looked to make a little mistake in the mountain, couldn't be punished because Jordan was too tangled up in the loading bay.
Yeah, Devin was running along the outer line of the quad the whole time. Unfortunately, Gio's only possible tag in that round, he got caught up at the loading bay.
1-0, Apex Sun. Athletes ready!
That was Devin's first evasion of this tournament. It means that every single member of this Apex Sun team has picked up at least one evasion. An illustration of how well-rounded they are, how they trust every single member of this team. And Devin's looking to add to that, and he goes high while Aaron's dive is nowhere near him. Superb work from Devin. Did he anticipate the dive was coming? Because he's doubled up, and that is magnificent. Even Aaron applauds that. Incredible.
We go down 2-0, he evades me with a super clever play that I've never seen anybody do. I went for the dive through the ridge, and he congs over top of the ridge table.
Jumping over the bench. That was incredible.
Well, Apex Sun have already raced to a 2-0 lead. They were the underdogs, they were the outsiders, Dexterity, and Paul manages to make the tag to bring this run to an end for Devin. But it is a long way back against a team who have not been evaded once in this tournament as yet.
Athletes ready!
Well, Paul has been Dexterity's best bet for picking up evasions in this tournament. He's got 3, as well as that brilliant sudden death effort against GNF. And he goes under the sisters, and Damien can't get there. And it's the pace that's helped him out there. And it's a race around the outside, and Damien is struggling. Damien is struggling, and it is going to be the first evasion that Apex Sun concede. Oh my! Even just slowed down and walked at the end.
Wow, what a move. He was controlling the tempo the whole time. He had his eyes on Damien. He knew exactly where Damien was, and he reacted. That is a incredible evasion.
Evading 2-1.
It's the old Usain Bolt celebrating before the finishing line from Paul Fisher. In comes Santos Torone. He has really stepped his game up this year for Apex Sun. He's been one of their main guys. Looked like he was trying to make a tag with a foot there, and that doesn't work, but that one does.
A lot of people have been getting caught along the right tray. This is a very good place to be as a chaser when your evader is going along the front line.
2-1, Apex Sun. Athletes ready!
Halfway through, only 1 point in it. Apex Sun have been shown there is a chink in the armor. They can be evaded. It doesn't happen very often. But you've got to stop them piling on more points, and Santos with some lovely strides over the sisters and round that far corner, and he goes away under the mountain. The swing from Jordan doesn't make contact, and Santos Torres immediately restores the 2-point advantage.
Jordan had a very close call at the tilted cube, but Santos Torres, an incredible evader, knew to get very low. He got low enough, and he got that evasion.
Athletes ready!
Aaron comes in. He's been one of the stars of this Dexterity team, but he's up against one of the stars of this Sun team, Santos, who now has 4 evasions to his name this weekend in Arlington, Texas. And he's shimmying and shaking and then sets off, and there's a dive that I don't think makes contact. And Santos goes back into danger there, but he dived. He was hoping the clock would save him, but you can't stand around waiting for the buzzer, and the pace of Aaron managed to track him down.
Santos might have thought that he had enough to get along the front line and do that straightaway to get an evasion, but it just wasn't enough time.
In comes the number 69, Maxwell Boyce. And there's a dive that doesn't make contact, but he goes straight up the mountain to try and recompose, and he does do very well there. But my word, he's wriggled out of that one, as Aaron. He has wriggled out of danger there, and there's a wriggle through the tilted cube, and Aaron's going to pick up a point. Oh my! What an incredible piece of work! It looked like that was going to be a tag about 7 seconds before the lights went through.
I actually slip at the Lazy Boy, which honestly I think was the best thing that could happen. because that forced him to make a move, but also forced me to get back up and take off. So I slip, everybody's like, crap, he's done. I take off, run again, and end up surviving somehow. He gets and tries to corner me back at the tilted cube. As he dives through, his arms get stuck on the bars. As I go to get away, and I like tripped, so I had to jump on the bars that are on the outside of the sisters, which all the announcers are going crazy at this point. I'm going crazy because I'm like, oh my gosh, we're down 3-1, and I might have a chance to bring us back within 1 point. And all I'm thinking is Max is on my tail. I take off, lights go green, I turn around, I'm like, Max isn't anywhere close to me. Again, one of the wildest feelings in the entire tournament for me, because now not only do we have all the teams around us, we have all the spectators, and we're the complete underdog, and everybody's rooting for us. It was not followed up with one of my best moments, though.
Despite injuries to key players, despite going behind, this Pennsylvania team did not know when they're beat, although I think Aaron kind of conceded that one as he just stood there and watched Max just prod him in the shoulder.
I mean, Aaron was watching his opponent, indeed. He was watching as Max just simply stuck his hand right on out and had that simple tag.
Apex Sun.
4 chasers remain. There is only 1 point in it in this thriller of a semi-final. Apex Sun hold the advantage as Max goes under the front line and off towards the tilted cube. Paul is really close and Paul is really quick as well, but look at the pace there for Max to get away from him. And it's another weave around all those little gaps. Superb work and a dive!
The one tag I got was down to 19 point something seconds, and I dove and I tagged him, and the green light comes on. They said it was an evasion. He comes walking back to me, and he said, he said, "Did you tag me?" And I said, "Yeah, I tagged you." And they gave us the tag, but the other guys decided not to challenge it because I guess they were also confident that.
Athletes ready!
Bear Schneider comes into the action and drops down into the mountain, and well, the tag was not given, so he didn't make contact, but he will now because Paul loses his footing and he's just lying there on the ground waiting to be tagged. And now Apex Sun are on the verge of setting up a meeting in the final with their sister team, Apex Moon.
We are down to match point for Apex Sun. Unfortunately, Paul seemed to have clipped his toes on the right tray. That mistake cost him.
Athletes ready!
Jordan needs to make the tag. And Jordan does make the tag, and he makes it very quickly. And this would be some fairy tale stuff if Dexterity can get out of this one and win the game in sudden death. They need to evade, force sudden death, and repeat the heroics that they had in the quarterfinals against GNM.
Athletes ready!
In comes Damien. He was evaded earlier by Paul. Surely he won't be evaded a second time. If he does, this game is still alive. But there's a dive and it doesn't make contact. Jordan somehow wriggling out of that one. There's a slap looking for the hands. That doesn't make contact. This might happen, you know. This might happen. This is happening. It is. Oh my word.
What a match. Jordan with the tie.
He went for the leg, he went for the hand, there was a stumble, and Jordan somehow...
And I look behind me, I don't see him. Then I see him at the ridge. I look over at the screen, and I see it's in the 19. And I see the timer, I see the guys, and they're like, run, 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 run. And I was like, wait. I look at the timer, and I see it go 0.6, 0.7, 0.8. I just open my arms, and the green lights come down, and I'm just like, we need one more evasion to win. We just need one more evasion to win.
We're over the moon. We're now tied up 3-3, which is something that nobody's ever done against an Apex team.
It was intense. Like you could hear a pin drop in that room. It was so intense, so cool.
Tim tells me I need to go in and get the tag for the Sun Death. So I go in against Santos, and dude, I I had nothing left. I put it all out on the table. And earlier on in that match, you can see me just like collapse as I go underneath the front line.
How long can Santos Terrones remain untagged? Aaron is very, very quick, but he pulls out of going after him there. But he's going to go for him here. Has he got the pace to make the tag? No, he hasn't. And Santos is racking up a really, really good time here. An excellent time. Maybe an unbeatable time because it's round by the ridge. No tag given. Oh, no. Oh. Acknowledged. But we are so close to the 20. It may not make that much difference. We're going to have to wait for the official time. But this is...
I end up getting the tag, but it was very late down the road, unfortunately. I just had nothing left.
Impossible.
Seems like Dexterity's chance has to be an evasion.
We are awaiting the official time, and every millisecond will count. The time is...
Came down to the wire. Man, at that point, the crowd in that building was just electric, basically.
It is as good as an evasion. But if Paul Fisher can go the full 20, we will see another sensational upset.
Athletes ready!
A snarl from the bear on the chaser's plate, who has just over 18.5 seconds to make the tag, but he just doesn't find a way to make it there. Paul goes under the sisters, and Bear's on top of him, and the tag is made. It's claimed, he's celebrating, and that will do.
I mean, I put it all out there. I gave it everything, and at the very end, just didn't quite pull through.
I remember talking to people about that match, and the announcer for Chase Tag, who's seen countless amounts of matches, said that was the most intense game of Chase Tag he's ever seen. So that just speaks volumes to what that match was like and what the energy was like in that room, and it felt like a win.
But we weren't done yet. We still had our third place match against Now Hollywood, which also then set up a face-to-face in the finals against the Apex team. So we're leaving with our heads held high, but nothing left.
I mean, I'm all bruised up and sore, and we go back and try to play one more match against Hollywood, and they had played one less game than us and had a lot more rest, so I didn't think teams weren't fair.
Then we go against Hollywood and they smack us. Like, we lose 4-0. We get destroyed by them, which was wild.
We did get beat pretty bad, yeah, so.
We were really just beat too. I feel like next year if we're up against Hollywood, we might have a better shot if we're a little more fresh.
And I really, it sucked, but at this point, like, we already had our win. We already almost beat Apex Sun.
On top of that, you could tell Apex Sun had nothing left either when they went up against Apex Moon. We wrecked them and basically gave Apex Moon a little bit of an easier ride. We ended up 4th in the world after coming in as a complete nobody. Nobody expected anything. We lost our captain in the second chase of the entire tournament and went on to then to win all these matches and take 4th.
Our team is really good, and then we proved that this year. So hopefully we'll get a chance to play them again in the future, and we'll show everyone that we can beat them.
There was not a better way to end this whole week.
It was sad. The event was over. The event was so cool. The whole trip was so fun. Getting injured sucked, but I think it made our team story. Like, we lost our captain. We lose one of our best players. We still go out there and do so well. This whole thing is a true underdog story. We're this team that lost first last year. We come back in. No one really knows who we are. No one knows what we're capable of. We lose our first 2 matches. Then we win 3 in a row. We get to the semifinals. If people didn't know who we were, they know who we are now. And we're going to continue to go out there and make a name for ourselves and push the sport of Chase Tag. And you can definitely expect us to do really well in the future. And we're here to stay.